Turning back to that breaking news out of Chicago, Customs and Border Protection says agents were shot at while conducting an immigration enforcement operation earlier today. Cameras from our Fox affiliate were there in the aftermath of the shooting. That's the video currently on your screen. There have been weeks of tension in Chicago over the Trump administration's crackdown on illegal immigration, amid a legal battle over whether the White House can send the National Guard there. Former acting ICE Director Jonathan Fahey is with us. Jonathan, so a black Jeep apparently speeds by a bunch of ICE officers. Shots are fired and the Jeep speeds off. What's your reaction?
You know, I want to say it would be shocking or something else, but I feel like with all of this rhetoric and all this what's been going on in the last several months with this rhetoric, political rhetoric directed at ICE agents, directed at CBP, it's not surprising that the level of violence against them has risen. And something like this, and even something worse than this, are bound to happen because of the rhetoric. And the unfortunate thing is these ICE agents are simply doing a job that they're required to do. And these politicians are, elevating themselves, their status within the Democratic Party by essentially tacitly supporting this type of activity.
Look, man, to the people in Chicago, y'all need to stop messing around with these ICE agents. Because what's going to happen is, man, they're going to bring this National Guard up in here and y'all ain't going to do nothing. Y'all people outside worried about this when y'all should be at work making money for yourselves. But I'm telling y'all, man, y'all better leave these people alone. And to the politicians in Chicago, we know y'all Democrats and y'all want to fight just because it's a Republican president trying to help y'all out. If y'all cities wasn't called Chirac, then the president wouldn't be there. If y'all didn't have an influx of immigration, illegal immigrants coming into your country because you want to bring them in and y'all giving them money, then the president wouldn't have ICE agents there. This is the doing of the politicians that are now fighting against this because somebody's coming into your state or city and making sure that it gets cleaned up so the American people can live their life. Do your job and the president won't be there. He's going to the highest areas that have the highest amount of immigration. And it happens to be Democratic situations, Democratic mayors. What are we doing? The mayor for Chicago doesn't know what the hell he's doing. How do you have people dying every single day? How do you have illegal immigrants coming and you take care of them with the people that are working hard, their money? And you get mad because you have a president that come through there and says, you know what, this is nonsense. We're going to get these people up out of there. I'm not against immigrants. Immigrants that do it the right way, I rock with you. But if you're here illegally and you got fed the money that was supposed to go to our kids, and you got it illegally, you got it because somebody wants you to vote for them, I believe you should go back to your country. Not racist, just real logical. Chicago has a lot of illegal immigrants that were brought there, and this mayor gave them a lot of money. So what are we supposed to do? Let that happen? If you won't clean it up, the president's going to come and clean it up. If you do your job, then somebody won't have to come up after you to do your job. But now, the people there are shooting at ICE agents. So what's going to happen when the National Guard get there? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? It doesn't make any sense for people to be shooting at people that's doing their job. Proud Americans doing their job, taking people, hey, man, you're not supposed to be here. You're not supposed to be here. There's no nice way to do it. It's called sending a message. It's called letting all the illegal immigrants here know, we coming to get you. We're not playing around with you being here illegally, taking all of our money. We're coming to get you. It's either you can leave on your own or we'll come pick you up. But shooting at ICE agents, you just asking for the National Guard to come there.
It's a wonder, frankly, that nobody was hurt. ICE agents had to call in local police. Are they allowed or are they not allowed to actually, enforce local law and maybe fire back in a situation like this?
Well, they're certainly allowed to defend themselves and also to arrest somebody doing that, because that would be a federal law violation as
All these
well.
people out
But
there,
it
shouldn't y'all
just
be at
gets so
work?
complicated because you have the locality,
I should be at
Chicago
work.
and Illinois as a whole, that are basically fighting against, the governments are fighting against the federal government at every step of the way. So they're really not getting the support that they need. And even the local police probably want to support them, but they're not getting the support from their upper level. So it really is just a bad situation. And again, these agents that are out there, these are moms and dads, brothers, sisters, neighbors of so many people, and they're putting their lives on the line, and they're in fact doing what they're supposed to do. And these politicians, it goes so far beyond irresponsible political rhetoric, what's been going on. And it's sad that we're going to have to be either today or down the road on one of these shows talking about some horrible tragedy that in many respects could be prevented.
Yeah, because it's a strange time in this country when law enforcement officials not only get criticized for doing their jobs, but I mean, they've had bricks and paint cans thrown at them in Chicago for trying to pick up illegal immigrants.
You want the law enforcement to enforce the law. That's what we want. This is what we pay for. Now they're enforcing the law and now you don't like it. My question is, all this stuff is happening to people outside. Shouldn't y'all be at work? Shouldn't y'all be working on yourselves? Shouldn't you, instead of you being a cameraman and try to put something on your TikTok, shouldn't you be trying to better yourself? People, y'all focus on the wrong thing. You focus on trying to be a cameraman and be all this. Instead of you living in a low income neighborhood and depending on the government, why don't you go get a job? Why don't you put that same energy that you got in yelling at the ICE agents, put it into yourself to make your life better. Everybody want to have an opinion, but you broke. That's the thing I don't understand. You are broke as hell, but you want to have an opinion about ICE agents. You want to look at the ICE agent scene. Shouldn't you be going somewhere and getting a degree, going to work, providing for your family, making yourself better? Broke people, y'all focus on the wrong thing. That's what's wrong with this country. We got a lot of broke people focus on the wrong things. If you ain't making money, you shouldn't be focused on it. If you can't afford your own time, you should not be focused on ICE agents. Just looking at this video, I'm not, yes, I'm listening, but I'm paying attention to the crowd. There's a bunch of people out there that look like they broke. There's a bunch of people out there that should be going to work. There's a bunch of people out there that should be doing something better for their kids instead of filming ICE agent pickups. Do something else with your time to put yourself forward. I'm just sick of this. I'm sick of these people focused on the wrong things. You want law enforcement. You say the police needs the help. You say we got all these illegal immigrants. They doing their job and you upset? It's idiotic. You yelling at people that's actually protecting you? Stupid. We got to start calling a spade a spade. We got to start calling out these people that saying they fighting for human rights, but you broke. You don't have time to focus on nothing else but your pockets. We need to start being a little less nosy and start focusing on ourselves. Y'all so scared to focus on yourself, so you focus on the outside world. But why are all those people outside watching this when you should be inside the house and learning something, or be at your job, wrapping up packages or something?
Yeah, it's really insane if you think about it, and the rhetoric coming against them. They're routinely, as we talk about a lot here. They're routinely compared to Nazis by our highest level politicians, not just some fringe politician. So it really does say it's acceptable to resist them and what they're doing, and it's acceptable to harm them if you equate them to Nazis and delegitimize everything they're doing. And it's not surprising that certain members of the public are responding this way, and it is just, again, the ones that are actually doing their jobs responsibly are the ones that are attacked, which is just the ultimate irony and the tragedy of this whole thing, in addition to the tragedy on the streets today.
So if this person is caught, what kind of prosecution might they face, given that it's Chicago, Illinois?
Well, the good news is there will be federal charges that could be brought, attempted murder of a federal agent and things of that nature, use of a firearm during a crime of violence. So they really are some serious federal charges, which will carry a serious penalty. Just the firearms offense alone would have a 10-year mandatory minimum. But again, your point is overall right and overall good in that you're going to be still trying a case in Chicago where you have citizens that are really turned against ICE agents. So hopefully you would get a jury that would convict on the facts rather than nullify these situations. And there's also a plethora of state charges, attempted murder, other types of things that could also be brought against this person. And hopefully people for this type of thing would unite and support a prosecution, and ultimately hopefully significant sentence would be laid out in this case, because whoever did this needs to be off the streets and off the streets for good, and anyone that's thinking about doing this needs to see that message and realize it's not worth it.
Yeah, it is
Whoever shot at the ICE agents is an idiot. You gonna get caught, bro. This is the federal government you messing with. You ain't messing with the rinky-dink state police or city police or whatever. You messing with the federal government. You don't think they gonna find you? You ain't got nothing else to do in your life but to go and pull up in a black SUV and shoot at ICE agents. Stupid. Stupid. This is why we have to start holding other people accountable. We have to start saying, bro, that was stupid. I'm telling on you. There's nothing wrong with snitching on stupidity. There's nothing wrong with snitching on stupidity. If you see somebody do something stupid, tell on them so they can go to jail, so they can learn a lesson, so they can be made an example of out of. Y'all want to worship this don't snitch. I'm snitching on somebody do something stupid. That's a lot of things. Snitch, somebody know who did it. Snitch on them. Snitch on them. That is stupid. All that's going to do is say they got a court going against, not having a National Guard there. You don't think they're going to bring the National Guard there now? Oh, our ICE agents get shot at. Okay, well, we can't fight that. Bring in the National Guard. You see what they did in Baltimore, clean that thing up in days. You'll do the same thing in Chicago. But going back to Chicago, before I clear out, if you didn't want ICE agents here, you should have did your job, politicians, the mayor, the governor. You should have took care of this issue. You shouldn't have brought these immigrants in there and gave them all this money and thinking that they're going to leave. No. So this is why when we have these things happening, he don't have these things happening in states that don't need it. He's going to the worst states ever. He did it in D.C. I don't think he went to Baltimore yet, but he did it in D.C. and he's going to Chicago, possibly Memphis, or already go to Memphis. Not 100% sure, but he's going to these places and not giving a damn. He's cleaning it up because these are the places with the worst numbers. These are the places where a lot of us die. So how can you be mad at a president that's coming here to clean up the city and making sure these illegals, these people that are doing the drug dealing, the shooting, are getting up out of there? You can't be mad at that. You can't be mad at that at all.